Hey, hey, yeah. Shout to day 43, yo, that's the OG. HEX, crypto, big payday, you gon' see. Yo, it's November 19, that's the day they predict. Every time I spit, I bring the craziest shit. Shout to day 43, yo, that's the OG. HEX, crypto, big payday, you gon' see. Yo, it's November 19, that's the day they predict. Every time I spit, I bring the craziest shit. Yeah. Okay.
Man, thank goodness.
To justify what the hell we're doing here, man.
He's phony, she's fake. That's the type of people I hate. Yo, y'all know the lyrics. Come on, sing with me. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Off on the natural charge, bon voyage. Yeah, from the home of the dog.
Man, it's unwrecked. Thank goodness.
Welcome to the HEX Late Show. It's 43 OG here. I have someone special in the green room right now. Let me bring him up.
Hey,
Blue Bum.
what's going
on, dude?
Yeah, man, enjoying life. Been a bit of a
I'm sorry, I did not get a chance to say hello to you before because I was a bit late. As per usual, as everyone knows on the HEX Late Show, we always start late.
Right.
That's just what we do.
Yeah, it's our thing. It's your
Tell
thing.
me, what have you been up to, man?
Man, I've just been loving life. I've been living life to the fullest out here in Florida, and just kind of having fun things happen to me, and I've been definitely degenning on PulseChain a lot. I've been in the farms. I've been making all sorts of plays. Okay. I started off ratio trading, just loving the cheap fees and all the action that's happening. Yeah, my bag's just gone up like a lot, and just loving life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For anyone who's tuning in for the first time, let's just explain quickly what is PulseChain. Do you want to have a quick shot at that, Bluey? What is PulseChain, mate? What is it?
Well, it's a fork of Ethereum with cheaper fees and higher throughput, and it seems to.
What's a fork of Ethereum? What's a fork? What's that?
Well, all cryptocurrencies are basically a database. They're a public database. And so what you can do is you can copy paste them. So you copy one database and you print it somewhere else. And if people start using that other one, it starts gaining value.
And that's what Richard Hart has done. He's copied the Ethereum database. He's made transacting, like if you've had any experience with Ethereum, like sending funds can cost between $2 and $20, depending on, what's going on. Exchanging one token for another can cost, $10 to $100. Running a contract, like some sort of contract function that's a little bit more complicated might cost you hundreds of dollars. So that was the issue with what happened with Ethereum putting up their fees. Actually changed some stuff, which made doing stuff with the HEX contract a little bit more expensive than everyone would have liked. So he created PulseChain. Now doing those contract things on PulseChain is much cheaper. It's like cents to do end a HEX
HEX stake. Actually, it's still kind of like I mean, relative to how much it costs to do a transaction, it is still quite expensive to end a HEX stake. I was a bit
like, how much is it? How much is it?
Like I did one right
Like
right when the chain came out.
A couple of dollars?
Pardon?
A few dollars? What is it?
It was like 1,000. It was like a 1,000x of what the transaction cost was or something. It was quite a lot. Like in relative to what it costs to do stuff on PulseChain, like relative to Ethereum, it was a lot cheaper. And I can't remember the actual price of what it was, but I just remember thinking, I thought
how much is a regular transaction on PulseChain then?
At the moment,
it's like cents.
Yeah, at the moment, PLS Burn is the best place to go for all of that kind of stuff. And right at the moment,
let's bring this up. Hey,
PLSburn.com.
I'll bring it up.
And it's to send PLS, it's 3 cents. To send a PRC20 is 9 cents, and to do a swap is 44 cents.
So to end a stake,
from memory, like ending a HEX stake, like I was ending one that was pre-big payday, and I remember thinking, oh shit, that's actually like 1,000x of the swap price or something like that. Like I guess that would be like so it'd be like, it would have been like maybe $30 or $40 to end it, I think. I mean, you know what? I shouldn't even say that because I can't remember exactly what it was.
I think we should verify. I actually think it's cheaper because I know someone who ended one very recently, and it was under $10 to do it.
But my point
I don't know what the
point is though, that I thought part of the reason we have this whole fork is to make the S load cheaper. So I thought he was going to tweak the S load so that it wouldn't be so much more expensive to end these HEX stakes. So I don't know.
Dude, I can deal with these prices though. Like I can deal with
absolutely now.
I can deal with the price of a coffee, the price of like just a meal or something. Like I can deal with that. What I can't deal with is when things get really congested. I can't deal with $1,000 or maybe I can deal with it. I don't maybe I can say, well,
you do,
I can do it. But if you've got small stakes, like very, very small stakes, you just can't. It's not worth the cost of doing it on Ethereum is more than what you'll get out of the token. So at that point, you might as well just go buy some tokens. So this whole PulseChain thing started because Ethereum it's almost impossible to transact on it when things get too congested.
But it was also
now we've got
also because they hard forked and really upped the S load to make it particularly hard for HEX stakers to end their or more expensive for HEX stakers to end their stake. And so I mean, hopefully they tweak that. I don't know if they can, or I mean, I thought that was the whole point of the chain was to.
I'm sure they can tweak it if they want to.
Yeah,
they can tweak but as I said, I don't mind like low 2-digit figures to end a stake. Like I can deal with that, man. You can't do anything like anywhere.
Yeah, the tricky bit comes in like let's say 2 years time, if the price is 1,000x and then someone comes in and wants to make a HEX stake and then for a long term, but then they have that same thing where they don't know like if it's in the future, it's going to be very, very expensive.
I don't think, I don't think that's something that we would have to worry about. And the other thing, I don't think the reason we don't have to worry about it is because if there was ever a need to fork the chain again,
we know how to do it this time.
yeah, dude, it's like they know how to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they really know how to do it. They could just, it wouldn't take as It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
It would be a different. But look, that's a ridiculous thing for us to be talking about, because
Right
this
now,
one
yeah.
has just come out,
It's just come
and
out.
and I don't think we're going to need to think about any of that stuff for years and years and
Yeah.
years and years.
Yeah, sure.
Like right now, we're basking in the glory of this new chain, which it has, as far as volume, DEX volume, like decentralized exchange volume, has become number 2 in all EVM chains. I think number 2 in all chains. I think it's like,
Well, they have to be,
it's
because
even
like
more
Uniswap
than,
would be the most.
yeah,
Yeah.
because, well, Ethereum would have the most, and it was Binance Smart Chain as the second, but PulseChain in a week and a couple of days of being released is the second most transacted volume wise.
Ye- But did you see then
Like
that?
chain
But you also
in the world
saw
that
that.
exists.
Yeah, but you also
It's
saw the
crazy.
BSC was like starting to put up fake volume. They had
Yeah.
certain meme coins, which you look at the transaction history, and it's all just like obviously very, very fake. So they're trying to bump up their numbers, and Arbitrum was trying to do the same as well.
Yeah.
You know what I've realized?
Like,
you know what I've realized?
the emperor. This is where this is where everyone realizes in crypto. Oh, hang on.
Sammy's here.
I didn't realize Sammy was here.
Hello,
Hey, Sammy.
how are you? Keep going. I was just listening, saying hello to everybody.
Good, thanks. How are you? Yeah, we're just talking about BSC, but now we everyone in crypto gets to see the emperor has no clothes.
Well, you know what I've realized?
We get to see that these guys are just like, it's all fake. It's all fake just for appearances, you know? And this is why you don't see HEX and Pulse in their rightful positions on sites like CoinMarketCap. Why? Because the Binance owns CoinMarketCap, and Binance see, Richard Hart as the opposition, as enemy,
Competitor.
right? That's how they see them, and that's why they gatekeep like the Pulse chain and the HEX community.
You know what I've realized since this whole chain has come out in the last 9 days? The cryptocurrency world is divided into 3 basic groups. First, you have people that just spend their time on centralized exchanges, just buying a whole lot of, casino, whatever coins, leverage trading, doing things they don't really understand. They're the ones that all got wrecked, specifically like with FTX and all that kind of stuff. Then you have people who are they're really just a buy and forget and hold. And they don't do much trading. They don't do, they're just really very kind of, they've heard that cryptocurrency is good. They go and buy some stuff. Mainly they're on centralized exchanges. Maybe they also have some decentralized stuff. And then you have the other group of people, and that's all of us. And we're the people who want to get our hands dirty. We want to see what's happening. We want to like move stuff around. We want to like change the RPC settings, and we want to like work out what this farming thing is and all of that kind of stuff. And that community is Zenians and it's Hexicans. They're the same community. They're like 80% the same people. And all this FUD that you see, like on about, from all the kind of like the tribalism, it's all fucking like people trying to get better deals on stuff and just speaking shit. Because when you meet these people in real life, everyone is friends. Everyone is just human beings and friends. And so that was a really big revelation, particularly when Pulse came out and all of a sudden people minting Zen like absolute MFers. And the only people that had the Pulse to do that were all Hexicans who sacked for Pulse.
So that's interesting comments you have there. I want to just address this whole getting your hands on Pulse, because there's probably a lot of people out there who are watching right now who are like, I have ERC 20s on the 10th of May, and I have a copy. I can see them. I've changed the RPC settings to PulseChain. I can see my PRC 20 copies on PulseChain, but they can't do anything. and they're scratching their heads. How do I get my hands on Pulse so that I can make that first transaction and swap some stuff over and get more Pulse? So these people are just needing, like, you know, maybe it's 10,000, like 5,000 or 10,000 Pulse,
Just to do their first
just so they can do the first few.
or their first
they can
unwrap
do those
after they
first few
bridge it over or something.
Yeah, or even they've already got stuff on there that's of value, but they don't. And there might be, I'm sure that there are plenty of hexagons out there who are in the same situation, because, you know, not everyone, for example, might have sacrificed for Pulse. A lot of people would have sacrificed for PulseX, and PulseX, you got the PulseX and you got one Pulse, because initially, you know, it was thought initially that one Pulse would be enough to do a few transactions, you know, and doing a few transactions, you'd be able to swap
when
more for
when the
Pulse.
chain first came out. Like when it first came out, even if you had just one Pulse, you could do that first transaction, but then it quickly jumped like 1,000x.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So that just shows you how much demand there was to use PulseChain. The fact that there's this competition.
So we do have a couple of solutions now, yeah. Like occasionally,
there are a couple of solutions.
Occasionally, the PLS faucet.
Well.
Occasionally, the PLS faucet works. I've been told. I haven't actually used it successfully.
Can I just say, as someone who has tried that faucet, I would say it's never worked for me once, and I would say it's a waste of time. There are better options out there.
Yeah, okay.
I would say there are better options out there.
Yeah.
So the first couple of I will get to these options in a second, but the first thing that we brought up, you asked me to bring up. I've got Pulse Burn here. Did we want to have a look at some stuff here that was of interest?
Yeah.
That INC price is just absolutely nuts.
Isn't it awesome?
So can you explain? Can you guys explain to me what's INC? What is this?
Oh, do you want to do it, Sammy?
Oh yeah. I'll give it a go, Blue. I know that you can you know more about it because we've had this conversation, obviously. So I watched Crypto Coffee's video on Ink Token, which is the incentive token for the liquidity providers on PulseX. So the farms on the PulseX exchange is rewarded. The farming pool is rewarded with the Ink token. We saw it go right down to, I believe $4 when PulseX first launched in the first few days. And then we've seen it rise up to 80, I think it was $88 when I last checked this morning really early.
77 at the moment.
Yeah, it's 77 now, but it was 88 like, say, 12 hours ago.
Oh, fair
yeah, so we've seen a massive, this is the highest rising coin that we've seen, I believe. That's
what is it? What is it?
Well,
where'd it come from?
Thing. Crypto Coffee basically said it's got this. I don't know. Instead of a halving every 4 years, it halves.
No, hang on. Before that's all kind of a lot of conjecture, because I went and I saw a couple of videos that people were posting, and people were saying, oh, it's this, and it's that, or it's this, and so I was like, okay, let's have a look at the actual contracts. So I went and had a look at the contracts, and I'm not a coder, so I can't read the actual code. But if you do look at contracts, what the coders do is they write in actual English what is happening. So this incentive token is a fork of YAMS, which was, I don't even know what that was actually. So it's a fork of YAMS. And it's like basically just basically this token that's created, and to, like, if you have a liquidity pool, you can start what's called farming this token. And it just means you're taking your liquidity pool, you're locking it up or staking it, although you can unstake it at any time you want. And because you do that, you take that action, you get rewarded this INC token, this incentive token.
So when you say you're putting them in pools, you're farming, are you like providing liquidity? What exactly are we?
Yeah, so there's a number of liquidity pools that are being incentivized with this token, and there's only I only think 6 or 7 of them or maybe 8 of them at the moment.
Okay, so just to explain to anyone who's watching, who's not sure what we're talking about, in crypto, if you want to buy if you want to buy or if you want to swap something for something else, you go to a decentralized exchange like PulseX on PulseChain, and the only way that you could ever swap one token for another is if someone has gone there first and put tokens there for you to go and buy and sell. So, and that's what we're talking about, correct? We're talking about
Yeah, what
this
you're doing,
is
because
basically
these are
an
version
incentive for
2.
people. This is an incentive for people to go and put the tokens they have in their wallets to go put them, make them available for people to swap and trade into, right? And
Yeah, so you
and
can
based
create
on those swap and trades, you get this incentive token.
So you can create any pools you want, but only certain pools you'll be able to farm this token. So let's say you have Pulse and you have PulseX. You put them in at equal value, whatever that is at the time, and you put that in as a liquidity pool. And then as the prices like change, they go up or down depending, and you're getting more of the less value pair as that happens. Now you can take that liquidity pool and you can then go and stake that liquidity pool. And it's a very it's not, I mean, all it is you're running an approve and a confirm. So you're running 2 transactions that basically just put it in there, but you can take it out at any time. And then what happens is, because you're doing that, you're earning this INC token, and you see how much INC token you're actually earning. And it's got a little harvest button. And any time you want, you can do this once an hour. You can do it once a day, once a week, whenever you want. You press harvest, and that basically takes all of that INC that you've earned and puts it in your wallet. So now you're holding this INC token. Now this INC token, it's gonna have what is planned is that eventually people are going to be able to vote or delegate their votes to certain pools. So it's going to be the community which is deciding which pools get INC token and how much of the INC token they get via this voting process. But that voting process isn't in place at the moment. At the moment, we have, like SushiSwap had, we have a master chef. And obviously that master chef is probably Richard or one of the devs. And that master chef, they are deciding the emission rate. Now, the emission rate is this token gets made basically every second of the day. It's per second. So I'm not sure if at the moment, if it's 1 INC per second or if it's 3 INC per second. I don't know. But what I do know is that master chef can change that at any time at the moment. They have complete control. And then they also have control over how much INC is being given to which pools. And if you go and look at the pools, you can see that they've given more incentive for people to go into the stablecoin pools and into the ETH pools, right? And that's that's because they want to encourage people to start providing liquidity against stablecoins and against
and let's just go into that for a second. Why is that a good idea for whoever's making these decisions? Why is that a good idea? And I'll answer my own question here. My own question. The reason it's a good idea is because that makes trading from Ethereum into Pulse more stable price-wise. You get less slippage, less fluctuations in price when people bring their economic energy via ETH, via stable coins over to the Pulse network. So that is a really, really good idea to incentivize that sort of behavior, that sort of pool behavior.
Can I give my take on it? Because Blue Bum's like a professional. Like, I got all my advice for LP providing from Daddy Blue Bum. And Tangent when I started doing it in the ETH Power when that chain forked. So anyone that really doesn't understand what Blue Bum's saying, probably about, like, I'm a total noob, but I still managed to provide liquidity. All I did was got on PulseX, checked out the yields, which were huge when I went in there, but they've declined a bit. Added my liquidity, and now I'm harvesting every 8 to 10 hours. Making more than I am from my full-time job on just harvesting right now. but you'll have a lot of questions, and it's really interesting, and it's like you just going jackpot, bitch, like all day. It's just awesome. But Bluey, I wanted to ask a question. Like, okay, we're getting the incentive token, and that's the incentive token farming that. But my balance looks like it's going up even on the stables. What is that? Because I'm collecting fees. Will that fluctuate? Why is it going up?
You mean your stable coin pair versus like Pulse or whatever?
Yeah. So when I
it's
put
because
my
of
stables
fees.
in,
It's because of fees. It's because
is it?
because what happens is anytime anybody trades, they have to pay like what is it, 0.22% or something like that. And I can't remember the exact figures, but like basically that's your share of it that you're getting. And if there's a lot of volume and you have a bit more of a share, especially if what you're doing is you're taking that INC token, you're swapping it for a stable and Pulse, and then you're adding to your liquidity position, it's basically you're kind of compounding your interest on a daily basis. But also there's a few it's 0.29%. But I think that but only 0.22% of that I think actually goes to the liquidity providers. And at the moment we can't see, like on Ethereum they have the breakdown of how much fees you earn, but we can't see that yet on the PulseX site. But those fees are separate from the INC token. The INC is just a bonus kind of thing. And I want to have a little talk here about as well, because everyone kind of goes impermanent loss, and no, but you're going to get impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is not the big scare thing that people kind of sometimes make it out to be. And in fact, sometimes it's really, really handy to use. And impermanent loss is a really weird term. And remember thinking about it, it's impermanent loss. So especially in these pools of V2, so these pools are like you have to put in the same on both sides, and then the ratio just goes up and down. So like impermanent loss is more risky on V3 when you're putting in a certain range. And if you basically get swapped out in a certain range, and then that thing that you were pulling starts really mooning, you can be left behind. And so but even then it's more the opportunity cost that you're missing rather than actually losing like money. Like you can lose money as well, but like especially with the V2 pools, it's not as bad. It's more that you're not making as much money. Now the other thing, like the PLSX pool is really a good case in point. So when PLS and PLSX first came out, all of a sudden people started dumping PLSX for PLS, right? So PLS went up in value and PLSX went down in value. And I think PLSX is still pretty down in value. It might even be below SAC price, right? But if you had those both in a pool, what you're doing is you're kind of protecting your US dollar value of both of them together. So because what happens is you start getting more and more PLS as it goes down in value, and you have less and less PLS. But what it's actually doing is preserving the US dollar value of both of those pairs combined. And then when you're earning the INC token on top of that, it's just like, that's just extra money. So don't be too scared about the impermanent loss, especially if you're in pairs where you don't mind if you're holding one side or the other. Like the PLSX and the PLS pair, my guess is that over the long term, they're just going to go up and down like that. Like they're not going to go even if they get really, really far away from each other, they're going to come back because they've got a very similar supply. PLS actually has more of a burn rate than PLS. They have different functions, obviously. But I wouldn't be too concerned with impermanent loss over pairs that you don't mind which one you end up, like if one moons and you don't mind if you have a big bag of the other one.
Yeah. Louis, question. So on the PulseX liquidity providing section, when you've got your two pairs and they're showing dollar values, is that what you get if you decided to Is that what you get if you pull it out, withdrew it?
Yeah.
That dollar value.
Yeah.
Because I've like doubled my stack of like what I put in to begin with. Like that's pretty damn good.
Look, at the moment, I don't really understand why people are valuing
That's
the
amazing,
INC.
Sammy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
If I'm
understand why
right.
people. Look, I think the INC token is obviously mooning. It's gone up like hugely. I don't know if you can bring up a chart of that INC token, but and like I've seen a few videos where people are kind of doing a lot of speculating about what this could mean in the future. I personally I've just been dumping my INC, and I can't believe the prices I'm getting for it. And because for me, it's like I don't see the long-term tokenomics of it. But, you know, like obviously there's a lot of people who believe the opposite. And I'm really thankful for them because I'm getting to sell my INC at a really high price at the moment. Maybe I'm completely wrong and I'm just giving up this value now, and it will kind of I mean, obviously I've been wrong so far. I thought $7 was like, oh, this is great. I'm dumping this at $7. Now it's $76. It's like, for me, it's a no-brainer to dump it and to move it in to increase the pool size that you have. You know, like you can just earn the INC with half of it by half of a pool, with the other half, like if you're doing PLS DAI, buy some PLS, and then just increase your pool that you're earning the INC from. And so, I mean, that's compounding interest. That's why you've done so well so quickly, Sammy.
It's amazing.
So here's the,
I'm really
here's the
loving
chart
it.
for incentive token.
That's the look at that. What a beast. That's a freaking beast. Just going like that.
16th of May. 16th of May started at just under $3 on the 16th of May. And
yeah, look, people
the 23rd of May. So 1 week ago. It's been 1 week and it's gone from $3 to it hit $80.
Who decides the APY? How is that calculated?
The Master Chef.
Really? Do you think you'll ever pop them back up again? Because they've like dropped like right down. I'm not happy.
Well, that's because people are coming in. That's because people are working out, holy shit, there's really good rewards here. And so they're coming in and so they're getting part of those rewards. And there's more and more people come into the pool. Those rewards are distributed across more people. And so that's why the APR, I think that's how it works. That's it's getting a bit lower. So as more people ape into certain things, it's less APR, less because it's distributed over more people. But yeah, it's the Master Chef who's deciding how much each pool INC each pool gets, and that we don't know the future tokenomics of this token. Like people are saying it's going to be deflationary because if it's one per, if it's one INC per second, then in year one, let's say a certain amount comes out. In year two, that same amount's going to come out, so that's inflated by 50%. In year three, the same amount comes out, so that means the supply is inflated by 33%. So you see that it's disinflationary over time, but that assumes that it's going to be the same forever. And at the moment, we can't assume that because we have a Master Chef. And like I still think, I mean, obviously the Master Chef is doing the right moves at the moment because they're incentivizing people to go into certain pools so that people can get in and out of these different tokens, like especially the stables and WETH. And you do need a bit more incentive, I guess, for people to go into those pools. But long term, we don't know what the tokenomics are going to be.
Yeah.
I like this comment by Crypto Stylist. This stream is better than all my years at university and law school combined.
Hi, Crypto Stylist. She's one of our ladies.
I met her in Vegas. We had a little conversation.
Hey.
Lovely. Yeah, right.
So the next thing we've talked about incentive token. The next thing we were going to talk about was how people need pulse. People who don't have any pulse they've found it really difficult to get their hands on some. So we've got some solutions for everyone. Richard Hart tweeted about one new solution which has just come out very, very recently. There is a site
OKX.
called OKX, and this is the tweet by Richard, and they're listing Pulse. They're listing PLS. So if you're an OKX user, you'll be able to get your some Pulse there and send it to wallets, and then you'll be able to do stuff with all your ERC20s that got copied over the PulseChain, all your PRC20s. You'll be able to do things and you know, stake, unstake your HEX stakes, and you know, Hedron, all of that stuff. Another one that is happening right now, and I will bring it up. It's something that Dipcatcher has created, and it's called Gas Bridge. Now, this one is a little bit more fleeting in your ability to use it, because it's I think it's only got another 12 hours left.
Less,
so I'll just
probably, I think.
Got less than 12 hours, has it? Let's have a look.
Okay.
It's a contract that they've made, which is going to you deposit ETH if you want Pulse, and if you want ETH, you deposit Pulse on the Pulse chain. So it depends what you want, you know. But if too many people put in ETH, then it's worth putting in some Pulse, because then you'll get a good rate for putting in Pulse.
And that's the situation right at the moment. Right at the
Really?
moment. Yeah, right at the moment, you can get cheap ETH. Like, you can get very cheap ETH with your Pulse. If you look there.
Yeah, can you post a link? Can you post a link in the chat?
I'll
Please
post
do.
the link. So this only goes for another 12 hours and 43 minutes, and then it closes. So this is an opportunity. What you do, right, is you can, let's say you've got a wallet on Ethereum that has some Ethereum that has some Ethereum in it. You send it to this gas bridge, and you will get some Pulse, same address. You can withdraw some Pulse in that same address on the PulseChain side. Am I right? Have you guys? That's my understanding of how this works.
Yeah, you deposit ETH, or on the ETH side, you deposit Pulse on the Pulse side, and then you claim it after the contract is finished. And at the moment, I just want to clarify. If you scroll down OG43, you'll see that at the moment, it's 2,000. I can't read it; it's too small from here. But it's like 2,000% or something, 2,600% PLS depositor premium. So as we get closer to the end of this contract, which is in 12 hours and 44 minutes, anyone that will probably come down a lot, because it's a really good opportunity for people to basically get very, very cheap ETH with their Pulse. And so what will happen is, I think that people will start depositing Pulse into that as it comes down. But like, if that happens right at the end, any Pulse that you deposit, you're getting like way better ETH than you could at an exchange.
Hang on. I just want to call some people out in the chat who are saying this is middleman shit. Man, listen, all centralized exchanges are middleman shit. But if you need 10,000 Pulse to do your first transaction, then maybe you can deal with a little bit of middleman shit, you know? If you haven't got, I mean, let's not shit on people who have just spent time and effort to help the community. These guys are not going to be making money. You guys can jump in, if you see an arbitrage opportunity, throw your Pulse in there. It is middleman stuff, but
yeah, there's no fee. These guys aren't making any money on this. This is
what happens when you've got cross-chain. This is cross-chain stuff. Like, any bridge is middleman shit. Any centralized exchange is middleman shit. So this is something that these guys have done for the community.
Yeah, but also it's middlemen. You're not sucking their dicks. It's middlemen. You're just saying thank you to them. That's it. Like,
well,
they're just
I want to
providing
use it. So I reckon you should share the address so I can get some decent
Yeah,
each month.
and realistically, you don't have to. It's not like you've got to go and put in thousands of dollars. You put in $50, get the pulse that you need for $50, and then you can just go swap whatever you like, in the decks.
We should
So
also
it's not
remember
like it's just
you
a
can
helpful
actually
thing, man. It's a helpful thing.
people can run the redeem function for other addresses as well. And in order to incentivize that, like, because especially on the ETH side, it's expensive, transaction fees. What they're doing is that people who do that redemption are going to be eligible for they're having the pool party token airdrop, and I mean that's also something you can look into. Like if you have Maxi or if you have any of the pool party tokens, you'll get that airdrop as well. So these guys are like they're doing this for the community. There's no personal gain out of it for them.
I'm not yelling at T-Bird, by the way. T-Bird is my boy. I'm just
Love you,
saying what I think.
T-Bird.
You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter.
That's what boys
I was thinking
do.
hundreds and thousands. So and there's another two sites. Now I haven't used these two sites, but I believe that they're no KYC, but they are centralized exchanges. One is called 50x.com and the other one's called, I think it's called, I'm not sure
Safe
if
Trade.
either safe.trade
or trade.safe.
or trade.safe. It's
one of those. But somebody, I had a message from someone saying something about I don't trust that site. They didn't give me a reason, and they haven't messaged back to me. But I'd be really, really careful with those two sites.
Yeah. Look, once again, if all you're doing is a small amount of pulse so that you can do your first transaction, then I believe, I mean, look, if you haven't got many other options, then it's okay. And just remember, it's no KYC. So that's for a small amount. I think it's fine, but I haven't tried them. So yeah, buyer beware, like at your own risk, guys, at your own risk.
Do you know anything about OKX? Like I mean, I know nothing about it. I heard they're one of the larger exchanges in the world. Do you know like what jurisdictions they service or anything?
No, I don't. But I went to their website quickly and I saw the like some big name sponsorship people, like some big name. I think there's the Formula One, the Australian Formula One guy. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
No idea.
You can't use it in Australia, can't you? No.
We have a Formula One dude?
We have a Formula One dude.
20 million users, over 180 regions globally. There you go.
We can't use it in Australia. That sucks.
Are you sure you can't? Because when I brought it up, the first thing that it came up with that was like swapping Bitcoin into $8. So you can, I think you can swap into Australian dollars for OKX. I'm just waiting for the.
You know what? You might not be able to like connect a bank account up to it.
Well, then how do you get the? Oh, you can just buy a stable US. Why would you buy a stable Aussie dollar?
Yeah, look, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what you could do is if you could swap your Ethereum into Pulse. So what's good is if you're going crypto to crypto, you can just, and you need some Pulse, you can send some Ethereum over there, swap it over into Pulse, and then take it out. That's the only reason I'm talking about it, man. That's the only reason I'm talking about it, because people need some Pulse to do their first transactions. You don't need much, and then the rest you can do. The rest of it.
Oh, there you go. Someone Rinsky's actually Rinsky's created an account in Australia, so you can get it in Oz. Does anyone know if you can get it in US? In US, is it a US exchange? Oh, here we go. Can you put that?
I just created an account here in Sydney with OKX. Did KYC with Aussie driver's license. Okay.
There's actually that great site that, like no KYC or something. KYC not me, or KYC
Free speech.
not dot me is
Free speech is just this must be written on the website.
accept. So it's not available in the States or
It's
any
not
of
in the
those other
States,
ones.
Singapore, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Crimea, Malaysia, Syria, Canada, United Kingdom.
Okay, so it's
That's an
for the free world.
interesting. That's like an interesting mixture of axis of well, potentially all axis of evil.
Yeah.
I joke. Yeah. Yep. So there's some options. Like last week, we didn't really have that many options of how you would get your hands on Pulse. Now we do. So that's really positive. I think it's really positive.
Absolutely.
And the bridge is working. The bridge is working way better now than it was a few days ago. Like I've heard, I haven't used it myself in the last couple of days, but I heard that people are getting their stuff through like in a matter of minutes.
15, half an hour or something. Hey?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's just going to get better. It will get better. It will get quicker and quicker.
I just dropped the gas bridge address in the chat for anyone else that wants it.
Cool.
So yeah, the faucet's not working. Yeah, look, I have not had any luck with the faucets. I've tried everything. I've tried different browsers. I've tried VPNs. Like I've done everything that you could possibly do to try and get different addresses. Like just changed everything up. It hasn't worked for me once, and I got to the point of I just thought I'm just wasting my time here. So I looked for other methods, other ways. Okay, so there was a couple of interesting tweets. Did you see this tweet? Like you actually, I think Bluey, you're the one who brought this to my attention.
Oh, the
Do you know
Scout.
what's going? Yeah, what's going on with this? Do you know? Can we speculate a little bit about what this is? Get ready, Hexicans. The next big thing in Hex space is coming. A game-changing app from creators of Hex.com, Hedron, HSI Watch for mobile and desktop. No sacrifice, no cost, just 100% tool and a lot of innovation. Logo revealed in 24 hours. Hex Scout spread it. Is this like Alex has also been
He's part of it, yeah.
He's part of it as well. So what, like, can we speculate what is this all about?
Okay, so they did release their logo, and their logo is a magnifying glass. And I don't know what it is. This is pure speculation on my behalf, but over the last couple of years, there has been quite a few times that Alex has mentioned talking about subgraphs and all the things you can do with subgraphs. And my guess, total guess, is that because it's a magnifying glass and this whole thing with like subgraphs, what it allows you to do is get information from the blockchain in a really, really quick way, because like they create these little, I guess, blocks of data that you can call from much more quickly than having to read the whole blockchain. So my guess is that it's going to be a way to basically I make love to other people's addresses, if that makes sense. Like you're going to be able to go in and see all sorts of stuff about other addresses, your own or other people's. So it's going to make everything a ton more transparent. It's going to, it basically, I think it's going to, my guess, total speculation, it's going to be a tool that allows your more non-techie user to be able to go in and see what's happening.
Mm. Interesting. And there was another.
It's a double-sided sword. It's a double-sided sword. Like we all know that these blockchains are completely transparent. What you have to know is that anything you do on a public blockchain is public information. And so if somebody can connect your identity to an address, they have the ability to track whatever. And at the moment, we can do that to a certain extent, but there are much more advanced tools that people use to look into blockchains. And maybe this Block Scout is bringing some of those more advanced tools to the common user.
So we just don't have enough information. I want some more information.
It's a guess. I think today they're gonna tell us when. They might have. I'll have a look now. Today I think they were gonna tell us when.
I'm intrigued. I'm very curious to know
who's behind this, Bluey. Who's behind this?
Listen, what they've said is that it's the creators of HEX.com. So I don't think it's the creators of HEX. I think it's the creators of HEX.com because there was a developer, there was a person who basically made the current version of HEX.com, and they put a lot of time and effort into making HEX.com way better than it was. So I think it could be that person. I think Hedron and HSI Watch obviously is Alex. We all know that.
This is the logo.
No sacrifice, no cost, just 100% tool and a lot of innovation. And so, yeah, logo reveal in 24 hours. They did that, and it's there's a key, and there's a little magnifying glass around the HEX logo. And then 16 hours ago, hello, Hexicans. I've been waiting patiently over a year to finally meet with you. Now I'm here and thrilled to embark on this breathtaking journey with you. Buckle up because our adventure is just getting started. And so there we have the logo of the magnifying glass. And there was one comment where they said, I can't find it now. Let's see if we can.
This is good speculation here. I hope it'll have a portfolio tracking feature.
Yeah. You know what's a great portfolio tracking is fatty.io. Been super impressed with that website. Like that is, you can put any address in and you can just see like how much Hedron you got staked, how much ICOSA, what else you're holding.
Let's go there and so
fatty.io.
Yeah, so you know that app you were talking about, Bluey, and that Hexagon I told you about, who contacted me to see if I wanted to try out this app before it launched. I've never got it, but she told me that it's an on-ramp, it's statistics, it's a Richard Hart news feed, it's education, and it's also Ethereum, etc.
All right, I need to get some addresses, hey?
So they're gonna do this kind of slow release of information, the Hex Scout. And I looked at there was one tweet they replied to Katie. I've just chucked that in the private chat. I'll just read it out. The Hex Scout launch date will be announced tomorrow, and that's 14 hours ago. This tweet, a secret between us in advance. It's not a 2 more months story. So it's ready, and they're gonna drip it out, I think. Thank you for your interest. We've launched on Twitter to gradually reveal more and more about us before we officially start. It's going to be a bit like an advent calendar. What's an advent calendar? Like an adventure calendar?
Yeah, like a Christmas calendar.
Advent's got something to do with religion. It's got something to do with Christianity, Catholicism, I believe.
Okay.
Advent? Or maybe not.
Did you see that conspiracy threat? That conspiracy tweet?
Did I just make that up? I might have just made that up.
Maybe you did. I'm not sure what Advent. I'm not sure if it's short for adventure or if it's. What does Advent mean?
I want to put a couple of addresses into this.
Advent is a season observed in most Christian denominations as a time of expectation, waiting, and preparation for both the celebration and the nativity of Christ at blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, you're right. It is a Christian thing.
Okay, so I've just put in an address, an Ethereum address. And which I just got. So like if you ever just want an address to check out something, go to HEX, go to the HEX contract, and then just pick one of the addresses that's transacted with HEX, and you'll definitely have like the HEX stuff. Hang on, someone's here.
Hello.
XR.
How are we?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah,
How
going
are
well.
you?
Yeah, going pretty well. Been exciting.
We were just
exciting
having,
week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. Last few weeks.
Mm.
But now everything seems to be settling down and working way better than it was before.
Yep.
Flowing a bit better. You know, I think the bridge has something to do with that. Now there's ways to get your hands on Pulse. We were just having a look at this fatty.io website portfolio tracker. Does it allow you to put more than one address in?
You can create a folio, but you have to like hook an address up with it, I think, before you create a portfolio.
You might just have to hook a burner up and
Yeah. So you just
Yeah.
hook up a burner MetaMask address to it, and then you can add whatever addresses you want and create a portfolio.
Gotcha.
Hey, I'm going to take
That's
the opportunity to say I'm going to fly. Good to see you all. I got work early in the morning, so I wasn't going to stay long.
Do you want to shill what you've got on the weekend, Sammy?
Oh yeah, ladies discourse is coming up. It's Australia time Saturday, US time Friday night, Europe overnight. Got some new ladies coming on. There'll be lots of talked about with what's going in PulseChain. So if you want to join us. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter. Good to see everyone. Take care.
see you, Sammy.
See you next time.
Sammy.
Bye.
Yeah, it's been a bit tricky trying to find a place where you can actually look at everything you've got on all the different chains. I don't think we've got that anywhere that's great at the moment.
Well, Fatty.io is pretty good. Have you sussed that out?
I had a look at it. They must have had it up before Pulse launched, and I went and had a bit of a look at it. And I went, yeah, that's pretty cool. But I didn't sort of go setting up bundles or portfolios or anything because I already had those set up on what's the other one I use? Zapper or something like that.
Oh, Zappify.
Yeah. So I had all that set up, and I just said, I can't be asked doing another one. But we really need that. Like, we don't have a reliable place where you can actually track them all. And what's worse is tracking all your stakes and the end dates and things like that. We haven't got a unified way to do that yet.
Well, Fatty.io does it all now.
No, there is a good one, I think. Hexbase. Have you seen that?
I mean, you can still do it with the free version of Staker app as well.
You haven't seen Hexbase? Hang on. I've got to show Jex a Hexbase.
I think I might have had a brief look at it, but I didn't. It was when they first launched. No, that's right. They launched it, and I went to it, and it was a dead link or something. I went, I never went back. But yeah, that's the missing piece. And I was hoping StakeX today would get the both chains up there because I really like that interface. It's nice and clear. So I think it's key that done that.
Let me share this this website. Okay, so and I'll put the link in the chat. It's hexbase.de/service/staker. Now you can put in multiple addresses that are comma separated for all your, and that will bring up all the stakes, and it will work out.
Does it have it across chains as well? Does it?
I don't believe it has it across chains.
Yeah, that's
I think it just has it. But to be honest with you, I can't imagine that they won't have a drop down with different like PulseChain and Ethereum.
Yeah. It'd be nice to get a unified look where you can see the total value of your portfolio and you can see what stakes are ending on what chain. That'll just make life so much easier.
Fatty.io does it, and they do it with the Hedron stakes, with the stakes, with HSIs. All of that info is there.
Oh, okay. I need to spend a bit more time on there then.
It's really fantastic. Yeah, and they've been working on it a lot and trying to create exactly what we need, like what you're saying, is a portfolio tracker for across all of our chains and everything. They've also got Zen in there as well, and they've got multiple chains like Phantom and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah,
like you don't need it. You don't actually need it to be able to control stakes or anything like that. You just need to be able to have a glance view of what's going on, because it's gotten pretty complicated, and it's like
maybe HEX. Maybe that's what HEX Scout will be as well.
Could be, hopefully.
Yeah.
Have you had a chat about what that secret project is?
Yeah, we're just speculating. And my guess is that because it's a magnifying glass is their logo.
Yep.
And that I know that Alex has been talking about subgraphs quite a lot over the last year or two.
Yeah.
Or year. And like, yeah, so I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of way for us to actually like have some more advanced tools in terms of looking at the blockchain, at blockchains, more advanced tools for the more common user.
So not so much like a block explorer, but more down at a protocol level.
Yeah, but maybe it also is a portfolio kind of tracker thing. That would be very handy, wouldn't it?
We definitely need it.
Yeah.
So what was the other thing? I've seen a snippet about I think that was a tweet from Alex about transportable HSIs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contact there.
I mean, this is just a comment, I think, that he left in the Hedron chat. I'll read it out.
So this is not related
to in our chat, didn't I?
This is not related to HEX Scout. This is a different concept altogether.
No, this is different. Okay. Yeah.
Man, he's got that much stuff going on, hasn't he?
So okay. This is what he said. What if HSIs could have multiple owners, multi-sig of sorts? What if you didn't need to tokenize them anymore? What if HSIs could call external contracts, in brackets claim airdrops, for example? What if you could borrow more Hedron against them? What if 5555 wasn't the only incentivized length? Fun things to think about. And then there's another, someone said sounds intense. And then he's written, what if you could use bridged in copies like they were native? So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's super cool, hey? I also think that because like there's a contract that Zen has launched called Zenmon, where you can end a Zen stake and other people pay it, and then they get paid from the Zen that you mint. And so that people should be able to do that with a HEX stake. There should be able to be some way where if you've got a big HEX stake that is ending and you haven't got the money to end it, people can put in the ETH, and then the stake is ended, and from that, those people are paid in HEX or Hedron or something like that.
That doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to do, to be honest.
Yeah. And we're going to probably need that on Ethereum with these, these long.
I say it doesn't seem like it'd be difficult to do, but technically, I think you should be able to do that as long as the person that owns the stake gives the permission on that contract that's going to do it. Why couldn't it?
I also know that there have been conversations before of taking NFTs and placing them, like putting them cross-chain. So having a wrapped version of the NFT on other chains.
Yeah, that gets a little bit tricky, doesn't it?
But using those as collateral in some way is kind of seems like a no-brainer to an extent. Or tokenizing them. I mean, people have been talking about tokenizing like their HSIs since day one.
Yeah.
So that you could sell half of it, but still keep it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Something that I was just having a look at earlier this week, and I thought it was worth bringing up. As far as anonymity protocols on PulseChain, the only one that I know of is something called Hurrycash. Have you guys looked at that at all?
I had a look at it way back many moons ago, but I haven't used it or anything like that.
nor have I. Nor have I. However, I thought it's worth having a quick look at. Now, these things, it depends where you are. I mean, whether or not you're allowed to use them or not, as whether, they're...
Well, you're allowed to use any of these. It's only if they get sanctioned because someone's bloody running a terrorist organization through them. That's the general excuse, isn't it? Like they've got to accuse it of having a terrorist organization use it. That's the only loophole where they can continue.
So hurrycash.com, HURRICASH.com. It's the first anonymity protocol on PulseChain, and we'll just go into the app.
You know what they need? If they just had a pop-up that said, "Do you swear you're not a terrorist and you're not going to use this for bad things?" And then they'd be off the hook, wouldn't they?
You're not a bad person.
I'm not a bad person.
Tick this if you're at least a 7 out of 10 on the goodness scale. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different deposit amounts. There's 10,000 pulse, 100,000 pulse, 1 million pulse, or 10 million pulse. If I click through, there's been, at the moment, from what I can see, it looks like the anonymity set is just really, really low. But I was just thinking, how easy would it be for, like, if look, even if you don't want to use it,
just filled it up.
If everyone just goes on and deposits 10,000 pulse, you create like a larger anonymity set, and it costs next to nothing. How much is 10,000 pulse? How much is that? How much is that in dollar terms?
Not much, like probably $1 or something, $2 maybe. I don't know.
5.
So
don't know.
There are other ones.
I'm still coming to grips with all the figures.
I can't remember.
The 1 million pulse has 96 deposits so far, so that's the highest. So this is very new. Obviously, the chain's only just come out, so it's very new. Not many people have put deposits in. I think this is the sort of thing that people should, contribute to the anonymity pool.
Yep.
The anonymity set.
Where it's got the pulse, there's a little drop down. What else do they support? Other things as well? Do they?
It's not supporting DAI yet.
Yeah.
They want to support DAI, but from my understanding, it says DAI is not yet available. You don't see it. It's in the bottom right hand corner. It says DAI not yet available. But fuck DAI, Pulse. Yeah. You want Pulse. That's what you want. So yeah, I would say to people, look, if you're not ideologically against it and think it's a good idea that people have an ability to have some level of privacy, then maybe depositing some, like, even if it's a smaller amounts, like, 10,000 pulse is not much. And if everyone does it, then the anonymity set goes up, and that make like a viable option for people. Because right now it's like with such a low anonymity set.
You see what Mango Junkies put in there?
No. What do you say?
He just made a second last comment that just went in.
Maybe a chance of losing the pulse.
So just put.
Oh, okay. So the actual dev is saying fucking easy, guys. Right.
Yeah, he's still
in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm saying maybe put in 10,000. I mean, how much is 10,000 pulse? Work it out.
Yeah,
couple bucks.
Yeah. So
10,000 pulse.
The other one is beetroot.world, who have been doing privacy stuff on Ethereum.
Yeah.
And they are going to be launching something on PulseChain. So that's not out yet, but that's just something to look towards. And it's they seem like I've been following that project for a little while, and I've tried their bridges, and their bridges work great. I bridged from Ethereum to Monero. It was super easy. And so
what were the fees like?
I did it ages ago, and it was just like a normal Ethereum fee, too much, but it wasn't ridiculous or anything.
Would have just been the send. It would have been the send. The thing is that
it was an ERC20 send or whatever.
That's gets back to that whole middleman thing, and
it's a bridge. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they know how much Monero you're getting.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So then
That address is
I
getting
guess
that person
so.
who controls that bridge or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So they know how much Monero you're getting. So then for you to make sure that you would have to send,
Got to
you
hop it
would
around a
have to
bit.
send another transaction from another address that's not linked, and then those two Monero addresses would have to go to another Monero address, which is so that there's a hop there. It's like it gets, whereas I think the on-chain stuff, like Hurricash or Tornado, that is like the best. That's what you want. You want just something
with
that's
a really big mixing set. Hey,
yeah, with the big set, but that has to start somewhere. I mean, Tornado Cash had no one using it at the very start, so and it's got not many people using it now either.
So the dev got released out of jail, didn't he?
Did he?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've seen something
In Holland. That dude, the Russian guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he was
that's
from, but
good.
yeah, in Holland. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's like
I wonder if it was
2 or
just
3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Yeah, whether or not he's still, I don't know whether he was released on bail or something or what, but I'm pretty sure he got out.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That's pretty shit that you get locked up in the first place, but
yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to show you a video of something that I did earlier today.
Like in Ledger, eh?
Just when you thought Bud Light was the only company that could possibly fuck over their user base in one.
And have you heard their CEO talk about it?
No, I watched the video that they put out explaining it. That was tough to watch, man. I don't know who the guy was, but it was terrible. I haven't seen
the CEO talking about it was just like, yeah, I don't trust him at all. I didn't trust him.
I've never
I understand that it's this thing you can opt into if you want to, but like all these new people who they're just going to opt into it and then not going to realize it. They're just going to give access to your money to any government that subpoenas them.
Yeah.
You have to pay for that service,
and you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
No, so for some people that might be.
If you do pay for it and then want it again, you have, and then don't start not paying for it. You have to back pay all those time that you didn't have it. It's like,
is that right?
Yeah. So I was reading through it. So it's like $10 a month or €10 a month or whatever it was. And so you pay that €10 a month and then you can cancel it anytime you like. But if you then want to re-enable it, and let's say you've waited a year and then you go, I want to re-enable the service, they'll charge a €50 administration fee and then backdate you every month that you've missed. So
this is a really good comment here. This one here. Big target. Well, yeah, big target on the back for hackers. Yeah. Now, the other thing that I guess this is what I felt about the whole thing. So Ledger years back marketed their product as being superior to anything out there because it had a secure element. The secure element makes it superior, right? Well, as it turns out, that secure element means fuck all, because they can just change the code. It's their closed source code, change it, and without your knowledge, roll it into an update.
That could have been on your device for a long time already, and you would have no clue.
But let's be clear about it. They do need physical possession of the device. They need physical possession of the device.
Really? Because what happens if you lose your device?
No, if you opt in for someone to take the keys, don't they need physical possession of the
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
because they split it up into shards and then put it across 3 custodians. So if that's the very thing. So if you lose your device,
you have to hang on? Wouldn't you have to like allow them to do that though with the device? Wouldn't like you have to go through?
What happens if you lose the device and you've lost the seed?
No, but you have to set it up.
You've got to. I think you've got
to set it up.
Hang on. If you don't set it up, how would they just be able to extract your keys? Just
now you're signing a transaction. You're signing a transaction to turn it into shards, and they keep one of the shards, and then you say who else is going to keep one of the shards, and then you have one of the shards.
No. It goes to 3. It goes to 3 custodians. You don't get to choose who. It's companies it's companies that they've partnered with.
Right.
And all of those companies, if they get a subpoena and said, "Come on, guys, you've got to bring these shards together," they'll have to do it. It's not great.
Yeah. So we don't know the detail. We don't know the detail of how that actually works because these devices, at least the Nano S Plus, they're simple devices. You know, they're not. It's not something that just automatically does, connects up to the internet and does all sorts of stuff. It's a simple device so I can't imagine that they're going to open their device up to be something that can automatically connect up to the servers because from what I understand, those devices, whenever you want to connect it up to the Ledger servers, you have to like them to have access to it on the device itself. There's a question. Do you want to connect up to Ledger Live? Do you want to connect up to and I'm not defending them. What I think is for me, the breach of trust is where they've marketed their product as being this, you can never extract the keys from it. It's got a secure element. Well, you can. It turns out they can be. But before we all jump on the Trezor is this, saint of Trezors can be hacked, guys. Trezor T, Model T can be hacked. It was hacked like 3 or 4 years ago.
No, that was the one that was hacked, and it was an older firmware.
No, the newer one can be hacked. The Model T has been hacked. There's a glitch.
What if it has a passphrase OG43?
The passphrase would be the same for the ledger. If you have a passphrase that's not saved in the ledger, it would be the same deal. It's like something that you have that you can enter.
Yeah,
they would never be able.
So the Trezor could be hacked, but they couldn't get into your money because you know your passwords, your passphrases, and your passphrases aren't stored on.
But that's the same for ledger. That's the same deal for ledger.
No, but I'm just saying. You're saying about the.
I'm saying they can get your seed.
The Trezor is like can't be hacked if you have a passphrase.
It can be hacked. The seed words can be hacked. The only way that you can get around. Do you know why they can be hacked? Because the hacking the PIN number is relatively easy. Using the hardware.
That was on an old firmware.
No, you need to. The only way you can get around it, because the hardware is the hardware. The only way you can get around it is by having the micro SD card, and the micro SD card encrypts the PIN, so that you need to have this micro SD card inside it. Right? I don't want to scare anyone because the chances are this is not going to happen to you. Like this is
there is always trust somewhere.
Yeah, just no one stress out about it. If you're stressing out about this, just chill out. Okay?
Well, what we should remember,
none of this is happening to anyone. Okay.
And what we should remember is these hardware devices are just like a shitty fucking piece of plastic and metal. You should not rely on that's the only place where you have your stuff.
Yeah.
But passphrases would get around what you're saying. Like what they do is they like surge it. They surge the electricity through it or something, and that's the way they can hack into it. Is that correct? But then if you have a passphrase, it wouldn't matter because you would still need a passphrase to be able to.
So you can. you can also set up on the Trezor, which I really like, is you can set up a wipe pin, so that if you put in this pin, like if someone says unlock it, you put in the pin and it wipes it.
Nice.
It might be a good way to get
I've never done
smacked
that,
in the head with a wrench. Like, I don't know.
yeah. If you're not worth being kept alive after that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the great thing about Trezor as well, though, is that you can have like your dummy, like you can have a little bit of money that's on the Trezor one, but then all your real stuff is on passphrases that no one except you know in your head.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's it. That's it.
It's all just degrees of trust, but you'd like to think that the company that you're trusting is not, giving away more of that trust to other people. But, hey.
They can I just say that they have managed the optics of this terribly.
Oh,
that's the problem.
For sure.
Because if they said, hey, we are going to release a new firmware that is opt-in only, and it's mainly aimed at institutions being able to custody, things. If they came out like that and like put it out like that, and then the rest of all the plebs out there who have crypto and have ledgers never even have to worry about this firmware getting on their device, then they could have even said this: you need to pay for this new firmware. You need to pay like the $20 a month for this, and an institution's going to do that, right?
Yeah, or make it a separate device completely, institutional device.
Yeah, that way you know exactly what you're getting. Yeah, I think you're right. They did manage it poorly, and I think social recovery is good, and that's the way I think things will head. Where you need to be able to recover things in the case of something happens, and not have to rely on these seed words. But I think doing that with people and trust, as opposed to some fucking random company that can get a subpoena, is a different story. If you have you split it up in such a way those shards go to family members or something like that, or you can some other.
What would you use? What would you use, Jackson?
For what?
There's actually like Ian Coleman has a tool for splitting seed phrase. Like,
well,
I know that Trezor has a system there you can do Shamirs, but like the thing is that you need to set that up from the start.
Yeah.
If you want to do it retrospectively, right?
Yeah.
There's an Ian Coleman tool that allows you to do that, but you sort of you got to know, you got to be very good at doing offline stuff.
Yeah,
like, do it like going to your browser and turning off the Wi-Fi and putting on airplane mode is not going to fucking cut it, people. It's not going to cut it. You need an offline device, something that never touches the internet. That's what you need.
Yep.
If you want to do that sort of stuff.
So, guys, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. That's my joke. Sandy B, the dude. That's my joke. The old prison wallet joke.
At least the ledgers were a little bit thinner for that.
So, guys, going forward, you have a new onboard. You've told them how to be secure. You've explained it all. You've got them to go through the steps. You've told them a little bit about the history of cryptocurrencies. You brought them up to date. Ethereum, HEX, PulseChain. Now they're asking you, what do you recommend at the moment? Do you recommend HEX on Ethereum? Do you recommend HEX on PulseChain? Do you recommend Pulse or PulseX? Or what would you guys recommend? A new onboard just coming in right now?
It would come down to portfolio size, and if you wanted to get them introduced into something exciting, I think obviously Pulse would be an easy entry point, because you don't have to worry about, you need gas for this and you got to do this, and but you can get some Pulse, and that's a very easy entry point. And then once they've got that, then you can take them to the next step. You can then start to use the DEX. Okay, did you know you can swap that for this? Like, you can take them through baby steps. Whereas if you smack them over the head and say, oh, we need to go through and get some gas and set up a stake and all that, it's not too much harder, but it's a little bit harder.
I think, and I know I'm going to get some shit from people, but and I don't have any referral links or anything like that, but I honestly think that just for a newbie, Staker app, like I would say Pulse and HEX, like get some and Staker app. I like Staker app. It's easy for a newbie. It's like,
it depends who
easy
it
to
is
use.
and how much. It's comes down to how involved they want to be, what sort of person they are. Are they tech minded? Like, you got to. It's not just one size fits all. If it's your auntie,
I just like
then Staker app's easy.
I just like Staker from the
thing I don't like about Staker app is not having support for things like Hedron and staking and Icosta staking.
I think I think you don't need to have the staking of Hedron on the Staker app. It would be nice, but a mint button would be nice. A mint button would be nice, because then you could just move it to another wallet if you really want
to stake it. Yeah.
If you want, do you know what I mean? But not being able to mint it on the PulseChain side is problematic, you know. But I think they're going to do something about that. I think they're going to do something.
Hopefully, I'm not telling you on board Staker app. I just find that there's not enough support. Like, it's because we don't know what's happening in the future, and they haven't been really onto it in terms of getting support for these new things. Like, what about communists? You know what I mean? That's another free thing you get for having a HEX stake, and who knows what's coming out in the future. That I'd prefer to not have to go through that whole Gnosis safe.
If it's someone new coming on board, they're going to put a decent amount of money in, and they're reasonably tech savvy, then I'd go straight to the hardware wallet. I've got a new guy that I'm helping out probably next week. Same thing. Set up a Kraken account, go order a Trezor, and then we'll spend 4 hours and we'll just get your shit right, and I'll teach you how to use it.
Yeah, and if it's under a couple of grand, if it's under a couple of grand.
For that person, do you recommend HEX on Ethereum or HEX on PulseChain or both?
I think you'd go straight to PulseChain now.
HEX on PulseChain. Well, that's what I'm finding. I'm recommending. I've got new onboards, and I'm like going, you know what? I'm not even bothering with getting them onto ETH. Like, why would you when you have to?
They're just going to blow half their money on. Like, that's not a great experience when you're spending $20, $30, and then they go, I just want to do a small stake. Well, you can't do a small one because the chances are you're not going to be able to afford to end that one.
Not worth it.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then they go, I'll just keep it liquid. Wow. Okay. So I think that's.
And for that reason, guys, right now, I'm super bullish on HEX on PulseChain. I think long term, I think we're all going to be recommending HEX on PulseChain.
So what if you're noticing what's happening at the moment, that liquidity pool of the hexes is slowly getting built up. Yeah. And if everyone keeps going in there, so if you get that when the ratio is right, you get it close to 1-to-1 and everyone keeps loading into that pool, that's that prophecy we spoke about where you get that big binding of all the hex together. And I mean, I was at this stage up until this point, I've been incorrect. I thought a benevolent entity might come and load those pools.
They haven't,
but what I actually think it's better the way it's happening, because it's everyone's getting incentivized through the ink token to come and load that pool. And they're loading it in assets that they think are pretty well bound together. So the impermanent loss thing is less of a risk. So if you can get the community to do that, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah.
So yeah, just incentivize.
The other thing someone mentioned earlier in the chat, I think they were asking me about Hedron on Pulse and Icosta on Pulse, and whether I think they'll get price parity. I think they already have. I think, and they did it very They did
Yeah, I
it very,
thought that
very
was-
quickly. Now, of course, there was along with HEX, there was that dump before. So in a way, it's just like a stock split.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Hedron and Icosa very, very quickly got like at the start, I was buying a lot of Hedron for hardly anything, but really soon after that just went into that price went up.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting because when Bitcoin forked, I don't think it went 50-50 initially, did it? I'm trying to think what happened when it done the Bcash one, because they both held a lot of value, and then obviously it swayed and Bitcoin started to capture.
It pretty much went bare, but then in the end, it stabilized at a kind of
actually
1.2x.
Didn't Bcash go higher at one point?
No, did it?
I think it might have spiked up
and then quickly dropped down.
Yeah,
right.
But it was interesting with HEX because it was treated more like a stock split, and it basically the value halved on the chains. It was interesting to watch it play out.
In the next bull run, do you think the people out there who saw Richard Hart, flamboyant and all the outrage marketing, and haven't bought into HEX, but then when the bull market comes, they've got their FOMO hats on, and they don't even know or care about PulseChain? Do you think that they will just ape into HEX on Ethereum because that's all they know? Or
sorry, I switched off. Say that again. Just repeat that question.
So next bull run, right?
Yep.
When we're in the midst of it, right, at getting towards the pointy end, and people get their FOMO pants on. Do you think it's possible that HEX on Ethereum actually pumps quite hard, because the people who never bought in previously but have seen Richard Hart and have them in the back of their mind, and then when all that FOMO happens, they're just like, I got to buy HEX, and they know it's on Ethereum, so they just buy the Ethereum version. Do you think that could be where a lot of buy pressure comes from in the bull market?
Actually may not end up mattering. What I haven't seen happen is I don't think I've seen a lot of PHEX or like Pulse HEX forked back over to bridged back over to Ethereum. Has anyone been paying attention to that? I don't even know if there's a pool set up or anything like that.
You can see the Dune stats, and I posted on one of my tweets a picture of how much was coming in versus how much was going out. Way more is coming over from Ethereum than is going and is leaving back the other way.
Well, it's just more it's a better environment for transacting on. So I can understand why that's coming across, but it'd be interesting to see whether there is any migrating back and whether there's an opportunity there or not.
I don't think, it's funny. I was at, on Sunday, I was in Miami. I was at South Point, and there's this like this beach and this huge grassy area. There's tons of people and people doing acro yoga and drumming and all sorts of stuff. And I had a HEX t-shirt on, and this guy came up to me. He had a Bitcoin t-shirt, and he was like, and he started a conversation with me, and I was like, he had just been at the conference and stuff like that, and I was like, oh yes, have you checked out PulseChain? It was just launched, and he was just straight up, no, Richard Hart's a scammer.
Yeah.
And he was still, and I'm doing, dude, you should check it out. Did you have? He said, he had a bit of HEX. He had a HEX stake on Ethereum.
Yeah.
And I said, you got a copy of that over, and he said, oh yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, and then after a bit more of a conversation, his plan was just to go over there, dump it, bring it back to Ethereum.
That's fine. I reckon that's cool. Go do that. Get them over there. That's what it's all about. You get on there and they go, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot going on.
But he was so stuck in his mind that, and it was only, and the basis for it was only because he tweeted something to Richard, and Richard replied to him, Richard blocked him or something like that. But basically, that one action just made in his head is like, no, it's PulseChain is a complete scam, and I'm just like, I've been farming this INC token. My bag has just gone like,
he was a Bitcoiner, right?
Yeah.
But they think, like, Bitcoiners, hardcore maxis think that Ethereum's a scam. So of course,
he uses Ethereum. He's one of the rare Bitcoiners that use Ethereum. In the end, I was saying,
The
man, we're all on
rare
the same side.
Please,
It's
they
finally-
all,
they
even
all
the
do it,
hardest
yeah.
call, even the hardest, most hardcore maxis,
They do it.
secretly in the dark of the night use Ethereum, mate. They love it. They just don't want to tell anyone.
Yeah.
They want to.
And you know what? That's the same with hexagons with Zen. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, no, it's probably you're probably right.
Not for me, bro.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, not
for
for me either, but yeah.
Can I tell you? Let me tell you. Like I've listened to people crapping on about. I shouldn't say crapping on. Talking about all this yield farming and stuff. I wasn't into it back in 2018, 2019. I'm not into it now. It's fine that everyone else is into it. I love not being a click monkey. All you guys apparently love being click monkeys, you know, clicking the buttons, gas fee, you know, send. You love doing that shit. I don't love doing that shit. I love having things that I don't have to interact with, and I know that they're accruing value over time. That's what HEX is to me. This is the HEX Late Show. I love HEX. I'm always going to say that HEX is the number one for me. Now, we've got two of them. We've got one on Ethereum, one on PulseChain, 200% uptime. Nothing beats it. Channeling unwrecked at the moment. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Okay.
Where is he, by the way?
Now that you've said that, everyone in chat? What's the most degenerate thing you've done on PulseChain? And I'll be first to put it out there. I went and brought some kek, and luckily,
What the hell's that?
KEK, and luckily,
Kek.
I was still getting used to the units. So it turns out I only put $20 on it. And I wrote it up like it went up 200, 300%, and then I wrote it all the way back down to the bottom.
Wrote it up to $60 and then down to 10. Living the high life, Jack. I mean, I wasn't going to ratio trade. I was just going to do what you're doing, OG, and just sit back and just kind of watch it all. That was kind of my plan. And then, like, I had a little call with Patrick Hex Lion, and he was just like, dude, da 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 da. And then I said, oh, I'll have a bit of a look. And I just started ratio trading like a motherfucker. And I got so many fucking deals. Yeah. And then I was like doing LPing, and then the farms came out. And then, so I've been going full degen on the whole thing, and it's been working out very well.
Yeah, I didn't go too silly. Like I made the most of any stables I had and flushed whatever pools I could to get some extra little bags there. And I've been doing a little bit of the farming on the HEX pairs, but yeah, I didn't go too silly on it.
Romanian HEX. Yes,
all
you do have copies of your stakes in PulseChain. You have copies of everything from Ethereum in PulseChain. Some of them are going to have value. Some of them won't have value. Your HEX stakes do have value because HEX is pretty much parity with Ethereum HEX. So they're pretty much the same price, aren't they? They're around 2.5 cents at the moment on both chains, roughly. We should have a look at that actually.
So you've already had a chat about the OKX listing?
Yeah, we talked about all the ways you could get some pulse for the people who didn't have any pulse in their
that's pretty
sacrifice.
That's a pretty big thing. That's pretty decent. Like this is what we were hoping would happen. Is it's too big for these guys to ignore it this time. Like, they've seen so much volume go on the chain that I think they all thought were loon birds. They didn't realize this whole bear market. Everyone in this community has been building and getting ready for this moment. And
can we say we're in a bull market now? Like for the hexagons, can we say we're in a bull market?
Well, I think we've been in the bull market for a while. It's just it grinds its way out.
Right.
So, yeah. It's never going to be straight up, and it's what I think Tangents always says: you climb a wall of worry. That's where we're at.
So the start, we're at the start of the bull right now.
Do you know what's funny?
That's been like 6 or 8 months ago. Like it's.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that far. It wasn't that long ago when we got down to that sort of 1.2 cents or whatever. It wasn't long ago. But do you know what's really funny? Like I saw a clip the other day of someone rubbishing Hex because Hex had dumped again, but it was after
yeah.
the fork.
Yeah, no,
So
same
yeah,
as the
so
big payday.
there's
No
going to
one
be so
didn't have a
much.
clue.
So there's going to be so much of that in the next however long, while we're at these prices, there's going to be a lot of people rubbishing Hex, not knowing that if they have had it on the 10th of May, that they would have a copy on PulseChain. So
there are a
actually,
few people that have come out like on Twitter and they've done a full turnaround and going, oh shit, these boys over here there's something going on. Like you don't want to ignore it. So it's good to see those guys coming out and some pretty decent accounts with large followers sort of pipe up.
when you see how much activity there is in the Hex PulseChain ecosystem, like just how much participation there is, whether it be on Twitter, YouTube, on chain. When we get to the FOMO part, it's going to be crazy because there's people are just going to see us. It's going to be like a snowball effect because we're the biggest community in crypto. There is no doubt. We're way bigger than active. Way bigger
that's the key. Active.
Yeah, way bigger than Bitcoin. Active community in crypto.
Ooh, that's a big call.
I think we are active.
Yeah.
Go have a look at all the YouTubers. They've already had that 80-20 thing, like where a small number of YouTubers take up all the Bitcoin. Like,
but we're still low. But they dwarf us in terms of number of holders still.
Yeah.
This yes, but we're earlier. I wonder how many holders we had, like 3.5 years into Bitcoin. I'd be surprised if we didn't have more holders than them.
Yeah, but that was like, how many years ago was that now? That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah, so I think Cardano, I think, has a larger community, and so does XRP. But like you say, it's of holders, but I think it's more how active are they and what sort of holders are they? Like a lot of them are probably just buy on an exchange or something like that, where they're not really active out there using the protocol, and mainly because Cardano, you've only just been able to start actually doing a lot of on-chain stuff. But even still, I don't think they get a huge amount of volume on all their on-chain stuff. So our community is really, really engaged and uses all the tools, and we haven't even seen all the cool shit come out yet. Like all we've got is a working network with a DEX. We've got a few cool things like Hedron and those guys that came across, but
that's where the real innovation is. Like the real innovation is all of these like no admin key contracts which have been launched on Ethereum and
exactly. Yeah. And so now we're going to have this big wave of all the projects that have been building in the bear market that are going to launch now.
So awesome. We've got all of those still to launch, really, don't we? Like liquid loans and all that, hey?
Yeah, and Power City guys, they're doing some pretty cool stuff as well now. So
they've got big ambitions, hey?
I didn't think they were going to pull a lot of it off, but they've got their shit together, guys. They've got some cool stuff going on, and it's all tools that we're all going to want to use.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of prefer to. I understand this idea of having things that can just do a whole lot of stuff automatically, but I really like the idea of just being able to control it a bit more myself. And
as in,
well, like I don't know too much about what Power City are coming out with, but from what I understand is they're going to have things where you just buy something and you're buying like a strategy. So you're buying the strategy where they do this for this and then this and this. And so you don't have to do all that in the background. You just have to hold that one kind of thing. Is that correct?
No. It's not. It's basically they've got, so let's just say you've got a protocol and obviously you can manually call all the functions on that protocol for creating a vault and changing your liquidity and what your collateral and
balancing,
things like that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So all you can do is you're saying, I've got this strategy and I want it to be automated. So look at the price, and if it does this, go take this action, call this function. So it's not like you're not really buying a strategy, you're just automating those function calls that you'd normally do manually. But
Okay.
but once again, you're right though. You got to be careful with that sort of shit, because if something goes haywire and then it starts automating a process based on imports,
Yeah, that you didn't
Yeah.
want to do. Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
I-
Alex has talked for. I mean, we've been speculating about what Alex is going to come out with, and it could be all sorts of things. But he has been talking for quite a while as well about an index pool or an index coin or something like that, which
Yeah,
is just the
I don't know.
RH ecosystem. And
yeah,
I don't like it too much.
That's
I'm not
been
so interested
done.
in it either, but
Been done many times before. Just buy the
Yeah.
shit if you want it. That's my opinion.
yeah. See, the problem is with that stuff, and the same with Maximus, for instance. Like, if you go to Maximus now on Ethereum, there is no liquidity to sell your Maximus.
No, there's.
So
I'm actually a bit
you're
disappointed in
basically
that.
locked in to
that
hold it
would
for a
be
very
on.
long term until people start LP.
Yeah, which I mean, hey, that was always meant to be a semi-long hold anyway. I mean, the stuff I got was for the long hold, but yeah, it has been a bit disappointing.
You should know that.
can't-
You should know that.
Yeah.
That's what you're kind of like. You could be in for now it's like a 13 or 14-year hold. For that if you're buying Maximus.
Yeah.
Like it's
I've got to say, I like the perpetuals for really small buys when I'm onboarding people with really small buys. Like if they've only got like a couple of $100, it's like I like the perpetuals, especially the shorter ones.
Base and trio.
So that they know that they're not. Yeah, base and trio. I feel like that's like a really easy sell.
How are they doing on
to
PulseChain?
get
That
people.
they probably reach parity pretty quickly as well on PulseChain.
I think they've got a lot. Base seems to have a lot more liquidity. When I checked.
Maximus has way more liquidity on PulseChain than it does on Ethereum now. Like it feels like the Ethereum LPs have just been abandoned by Maximus.
Okay, yeah, I haven't checked those to be honest.
Hey, just on the side note, Google Trends, PulseChain. Have a look at the past year search terms.
It's pretty crazy, eh?
Is that dotted the projected?
Check that out.
That dotted bit at the end, that's projected, is it? Right.
Yeah.
So that's not actually that has not actually happened. It's just like if the trend
and
follows. Right.
Yeah, and a little bit of anecdotal. Last week was our second highest viewership on the HEX Late Show ever. Last week. Now, the first highest viewership that we've ever had was at the beginning of August 2021. Now, I'm not sure if you remember what happened in September 2021, but we had like quite a nice well, we'd been pumping already, but we had quite a nice.
Are you saying
pump
our viewer count is a
all-time
predictor of fundamental?
Based on one previous point, yes.
Yeah. Yes. My one point of my one data point. No. What I'm saying is that if lots of people are watching, then there's a lot of people invested in what's going on in the ecosystem. And that is there's a correlation between that and people, spending money on crypto.
Price.
And price. Yeah. So I haven't done a peer-reviewed fucking study. I'm just saying this is what I think.
Oh, T-Bet. So Icosa's got a new all-time high on PLS, which is lovely. The other thing that Alex mentioned was he's creating marketplaces for HSIs and Wattses, but you're going to be able to buy and sell in Icosa on these marketplaces. So Icosa is going to become the, what do you call it? The money that you use. Yeah, the currency used for that, for buying and selling HSIs and Wattses.
HSIs and Wattses.
Which makes sense because with the Wattses, it's like you're earning Icosa, and so it's a very easy. You don't have to calculate. It's like that's what it's worth.
At the moment, Icosa is sort of like a sink for the protocol. It doesn't have that next use case, does it?
Well, I think this is it. Well, you can stake it and you can earn more Icosa.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't have it. It's No, if anything, it was the incentive token of the Hedron ecosystem.
I was about to say it's
Yeah.
You can always find something for it to do later on down the track.
So is this incentive token ridiculously overvalued at the moment, or is it like a fair value?
I get it's probably where it should be, because let's face it, there's not a huge supply of it at the moment. It's got some level of scarcity about it. But
but we know that the supply is increasing. Just like it's got a master chef who just decides everything at the moment, so we don't know the future tokenomics of it.
What I haven't looked at is, and I've heard two different stories. I thought it was 1 per second, but someone else said it was 3 per second is the issuance. And I haven't gone and had a look at the contract.
I'm not sure what it is right now, but what I know is that the master chef can change that at any time.
I don't think you can change the mint, though, can you? You can change how you can change.
No, they can change how many INC are coming out per second at any time.
Really?
Yes, they can change that.
Okay.
And they can change which pools the INC.
That makes sense. Yeah, because that's the way you incentivize different pools. So that makes sense. You can switch that on and off. And I know on Matic, you could actually weight pools differently as well. Yeah. So you could say there's 100 going into this pool and 10 going into this other pool, because you want to try and get people to flow into particular
and that's
pools.
what we're seeing. We're seeing the stable coin and the WETH pools incentivized.
Yeah, that's right. Which you should do anyway, because you've got a stable plus a speculative asset. So you want to be more incentivized on those ones. So I totally understand that, but I'd be surprised if you can change the issuance rate.
I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, I didn't look at the actual code. I just looked at the descriptions of the code in the contracts, and I read through them, and it seemed to me that the master chef can change anything they want pretty much.
Yeah, because my understanding of the issuance was you got a certain amount year 1. So that was based on whether it was 1 per second or 3 per second, and then the next year it halved.
See, maybe that's the plan, but I think a lot of people are making that assumption. And maybe that is the plan. I don't know, but we don't know for sure.
Unless it's in code, then don't assume that's the plan.
And the plan also is to bring in voting and delegating, so that it's actually people who are making those decisions, or not the issuance. I think the issuance will just be locked, you'd assume, and then they revoke those keys at some point. But right at the moment where it stands, the master chef just controls everything.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And they can change. It has to be per second. It's the issuance. They can't change it to like per block. It has to be per second. It is, but the amount per second they can change. I'm pretty sure.
That surprises me, to be honest. Because basically it goes from being a token that has some level of.
Well, the only info you are able to read about it is if you actually just like go and search for the contracts on PulseChain. And read them. Yeah.
Well, that should be everything. If you know whether it's hard coded or not.
Well, no, I mean, sometimes there's documentation you can read, and it's more in plain English. You know what I mean? Not yet.
Okay. Right. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to bring up?
No.
I think we covered a lot. Yeah, we covered a lot today.
Yeah, I think it's been really nice to see. I think there's been a bit more respect given to the power of the community by other outside people. So that's been really nice to see that. Hopefully that'll lead to more. I know everyone thinks we don't need listings, but exchange listings are important, especially for Pulse. That's more eyeballs and more easy on and offs, and allows our network to be better and the protocols that run on it to be better. So that's good to see that sort of stuff happening. And it's not just about eyeballs as well. It's about, I guess, those barriers being broken down between our community and the rest of the space as well. So I hope to see a bit more of that. So I think it's been really positive to see that outside of everything else that's happened. That's the kind of thing I like to see. Not that we need it, but I'd like to see it.
So just I want to bring this up so everyone can see it, because there was a lot of talk about how the bridge was clogged. As you can see, 99% synced bridge, 99%. So of $150 million deposited, 149 has gone through.
It's pretty good. That figure
And the rest
keeps
will be
going up, doesn't
through
it?
very soon. Yep, but 99, I like that. It's much better than 47% where it was like a few days ago. But they've done an excellent job. They really have. I mean, they got smashed.
Yeah.
They obviously weren't expecting there to be that much, that much activity. They got smashed. They've done an excellent job, the Richard Hart and the devs, to sort this out and get us to 99% synced in the matter of a few days. And excellent work. Excellent work.
Can you just scroll down a bit so we can check out the gas fees? How's that looking at the moment?
Just a few cents. Do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going up a little bit.
I can't quite read the figure in the middle. What's that? Is that in the
4 cents to send Pulse, 12 cents to send a PRC20, and 57 cents to do a swap.
Is that 152 Pulse? Yeah. Yep.
So 40 times cheaper than Ethereum. 45 times cheaper than Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
So if you guys are wondering, you've just tuned in, you're wondering where to go to connect up to PulseChain, go to PulseChain. And that's all the information. Can you see that? Yep. You're going to be able to add the network to your MetaMask, and then you'll be on PulseChain. You'll be able to go in and do whatever you like. So, yeah. We've been going for a couple of hours, so I'm not sure if you guys want to wind it up or push it out, or
good.
what.
No, good. That's good. Yeah.
Wind it up.
Yep.
Super exciting time in crypto at the moment. Super, super exciting. And I can't even imagine what's going to happen when the real bull run hits in the rest of crypto.
This is just the warm up. This is the warm up. Like, we've had nice flurry of activity now, but
the exuberance, exuberance when the bull market really hits and we just start seeing those green candle. It's just green candles after green candle after green candle after green candle, and it's very, very exciting.
The next wave of projects that come through that we're going to see launch are going to be things that can send this through the roof as well. Like, they're all, if you use them right, they can really send it. So it's going to be crazy.
There's heaps of people out there who are hexagons and pulsicons. They just don't know it yet.
Yep.
They don't know it yet. And the next bull run, they're gonna become hexagons and pulsicons. But I think what has been achieved by the launch of Pulse, I mean, it's honestly, it has it's exceeded my expectations. The way it works, the number of validators, the activity, number two in volume.
Someone put a tweet up. There's more validators. Someone put a tweet up before. There's more. We have more validators than ETH does.
Nah, no way.
No, that's crazy. Okay, that was the wrong tweet, was it?
Yeah. Well, I haven't checked today.
How many validators does it?
ETH's up at like 57,000 or something. Like it's
Oh, okay,
it's up there.
We have 14,000 validators. That's amazing.
Or quarter of what?
It actually takes 3 days to get a validator up and running now. Like, you go into a queue, or I haven't checked it. Like I said, I haven't checked today, but last time I added more validators, 3 days to get through the queue.
So as a validator, sorry, I know we're extending it out, but as a validator, are you collecting a bit of coin? Like, is it worth it?
Yeah. Like, it's been like a massive steep learning curve for me, and I had a bit of issues on mine where it was running okay, but wasn't getting maximum fees and stuff. But I've sorted that out as of today, and it's good. It's a little money printer. It just keeps filling a little.
Once you got it set up, that's it. Hey, you just got to make sure you're up to date, I guess, with any updates, and
it's
like
like
sure
you don't have to.
And
Yeah, you don't have to do much. It just sits there and chugs away. The only thing so I had my first cock up the other day. Wife come in and said, "Oh, we just had a power outage," and the first thing I went was, "Oh shit, there goes my money printer." so yeah, just things like that. You've got to be aware of that. If it's offline, you can lose money. So you've got to be on top of it.
You don't lose much though. You don't lose much being offline.
No.
You get slashed, do you, or something? Or
no,
or
you
you're
don't
just
get slashed. You just what? So
you're
normally
just not earning money, right?
well, you actually what you would have earned, you get penalised.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's different to slashing. That's just because you're missing basic events. Slashing is more when you do something nefarious like double signing.
Okay. Have we seen slashing happen?
I haven't seen it, and I've seen some tweets going where people have said, "Oh, look, there's a big bunch of validators
saw
that."
I think a whole lot of money.
Nah, I think that's a graceful exit. I think they're just exiting.
Jack, so UPSs are not that expensive, mate.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about this because I brought the little Nook and everything. I reckon you'd be better off buying a good gaming laptop. It's got a built-in UPS.
What's a UPS? Sorry,
just a battery backup.
Universal power supply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't.
Got a screen on it. Got a keyboard with it. You can pick it up and take it somewhere if your network goes down.
It's got a battery. It's got a battery for a few hours.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Because our power just glitched, but then it fucked everything. So which was good. It was a good thing. I got to figure it all out. But yeah, it was you just get a power glitch, and that's enough to upset things. So if you've got that battery on your lappy to smooth it out, not so bad.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on this week. Appreciate it. I just want to big shout out to Tangent, who was on Matty Allen's 48-hour stream. He was on there twice. He did 2 really long shifts. He did a really, really great job. I was listening to him a lot. So good on him for doing that. I don't think anyone's ever done a 48-hour stream before. So it's it's good that they did that over the Bitcoin.
Actually, I should probably also just mention, I think last time I was on, we were talking about how me and Maddie, haven't not fighting,
kissing made up.
Well, yeah, he came up to me at in Miami, and we had a bit of a conversation, and we kissed and made up.
Good.
Not literally, but yeah, we made up.
Cool. Awesome. That's nice, man.
We're all on the same team, aren't we?
Yep,
we are. We are.
And Tangent has been ballistic on those Twitter spaces. And I was listening to Lit on one of his Twitter spaces just before the stream. That guy knows how to inspire people.
Yeah.
He knows how to get people excited, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to mention I'd forgotten about on that 48-hour stream is that Tangent had he streamed with Adam Stokes. Did you guys see that?
Oh, did he? No.
Yeah, he did.
Actually on the 48-hour stream.
On the 48-hour stream.
Oh, cool.
So go and check that out. I think it was on the second last block. The second last block of the stream. But it was it was really good. And then Crypto 7 jumped on there as well, and it was the 3 of them. But that was really good to see, because people who I really enjoy listening to. Adam Stokes, I really enjoy listening to that guy. I listen to his every Monday morning. That's how I start my week, listening to him, his Sunday evening wrap up.
Yeah.
So
going to little rants and stories. Story time with Uncle
Roger. No, Uncle Roger, Uncle Adam. All right, guys. Big shout out to the people in the chat. Before you leave, why don't you go and click the like? Go click the like. Pump us up in the algorithm. We appreciate it.
Get out of here, you degens.
Tommy has been fucking loving your content. You are hilarious. You are a very, very funny guy.
Yeah, he's good.